For this week's Political Spotlight. So joining me to shine a light is Reform UK London mayoral candidate Howard Cox, as well as driving instructor Heather Watt and campaigner Claire Dyer. Right, so talk to me about what happened then. So I'll start with you, Howard. You're in the middle of these two beauties, these beautiful ladies. So nice of you to join me. Now, the reason why I wanted to talk about this was because Sadiq Khan has got these ULEZ cameras that have proved to be very unpopular. In fact, the majority of those in London voted against having them in there on the outer part of London. He's had them installed, and in doing that, we've obviously got these team of people, they're called the Blade Runners, ankle grinding or whatever, knocking down these cameras at force. So Sadiq Khan has put some sort of protections in place to stop this from happening. So can you take it from there, Howard? What's happening?
OK, well, I can't condone the Blade Runners. That would be wrong to do that.
Nobody's condoning it. This is part of why.
Well, what's happened now is, of course, because a lot of the cameras have been knocked down, they've decided to resort to using cameras on the backs of vans. And what's happening now is that because they're also being blocked, peacefully blocked, and this is what my two colleagues here sitting here were actually protesting about in front of vans, what's happening now is that it's so disrespectful to Khan. He's actually employed thugs, security thugs, who are not recognisable, etc., to protect these vans.
When you say thugs, how do you know that they're thugs? Well, you say they're not recognisable, in what way?
Well, a lot of them have balaclavas on, a lot of them do not have recognisable security identification tags, and these guys will tell you much more in a minute about the detail of all of this. But I was alerted to this, but right across London, a good 8 or 9 incidences where these security guys are actually, fundamentally, are breaking the law. They are actually using their alleged powers in terms of protecting these vans to actually threaten people and abuse people.
Well, Sadiq Khan would say that what he's doing is protecting property, which is obviously within his jurisdiction as London Mayor, and he has right to do that because over 1,000 of his cameras have so far been taken down by these Blade Runners, so surely he's within his rights to protect them.
But he's not going for the Blade Runners, he's going for genuine peaceful protesters around the vans who are just saying, no, we do not want this. As you rightly reported, 2 out of 3 people objected to ULEZ. And these people continue this protest peacefully and lawfully.
Well, Heather, talk to me about what happened to you then.
Well, where I was hit was at the end of my road. So we saw on Facebook or whatever the fact that there was going to be a camera van at the end of the road. My husband and I went up there. We are peacefully protesting, if you like. We do not touch their vans. We've got a big sign that we hold up in front of the camera, which we're legally allowed to do, peacefully protest. And that's what we were doing there. Basically, some other hooligan, whoever it may have been, came and sprayed their van, and incidentally my husband's car, with some foam or another, which the security people then decided to call the police. And their security van, or their car, should I say, because there's always 2 or 3, well, at least 2 cars round the corner with more security guards in it. So the security guards arrived. One of them, apparently, I didn't see it, but pushed one of the other protesters that had just arrived, accused him of spraying the car. It wasn't him. Don't know who it was. And there was a little bit of a to-do, if you like. Nothing violent, as in there was no punching or kicking or anything like that. But this guy got pushed, so he was a bit loud. The van decided it wanted to go without waiting for the police. I was asked, because they know that I'm quiet and reasonable, I was asked by one of the security guards that was in the actual van itself if I could help them leave. And I said, I'm not going to help you leave. I'm not going to stop you. So with that, I walked to the rear of the van, which then put me between the van and the security car.
Oh, God, no.
The van has gone. The security guard, the passenger, got into the car, and you can clearly see on the video, I'm just meandering at the back of the van, or in front of the car at that point, not really paying a lot of attention. The security guard's got into the car and he's gone like that to the driver. I could see that through the windscreen, and he just drove at me. I've hobbled away because he really hurt
He
me.
hit you, so he
hit me.
Were you, and there was a car behind you that was stationary, is that what you're saying? So you were in between two cars?
No, the van had gone.
So the van had gone.
And the security car is the one that actually hit me. It then pushed me, as in it hit me and knocked me off my feet onto the bonnet of the car.
Oh, my gosh.
I've then hobbled away. And I think it happened so quickly, but I think I got hit a second time, which then knocked me to the side of the road on the floor.
Claire, you saw all this, so is she right?
That is. Yes.
What did you
What actually also happened before was, so I do know, and I heard, they had called the police because of this incident. They were waiting for the police, and then they were given an order from their team leader, whoever that is, to Foxtrot Oscar. That's the order. That's what was said. I heard that said. With that, it became very erratic. The security, there was 6 security to Heather, her husband, another very quiet man, and then obviously this other guy. And they became very erratic trying to get this van out. And it did actually sort of side knock somebody as it drove off, which is how most people kind of ended up in the road. Like I said, that's how Heather was already between the 2 vehicles. And then the other security got in the passenger car. I said, you can't let them go, because there are some security that we do know and we get on with. So there was 2 out of the 6 that we do know and are amenable and we get on fine with them. And I said, you can't let them leave. I said, because they've just knocked somebody.
Yeah.
But all they cared about was getting the support car, which isn't very well marked. It just has like a maintenance kind of sticker strip across the back of it and just a plain yellow strip down the side. They're Peugeots. And yes, he essentially got in the passenger car and was waving him on. And as Heather said, just she was hit a second time. She couldn't get out of the way. And as she was trying to walk away, that's when they did actually just drive off and knocked her to the ground on the side of the road. And then I essentially did chase after them because there was no intentions of them stopping. So I followed them and got them stopped some 5-6 miles down the road where the police intercepted them.
Absolutely astonishing.
You can see why I call them thugs.
Well, look.
I can talk a lot about that.
No, I want to show you. So just a warning from home, if you're watching at home, that some of the images you might see might be quite distressing, but I wanted to show you what happened to Heather's leg so you can see the damage. This is one of the bruises. If you're listening on the radio, Heather's got a big, almost like a bloodshot kind of patch all around the side of her knee. And then all around, is this the other leg?
No, it's the same leg.
Same leg, on the outside of the same leg. A bruise that's almost like a line going all the way down. And then her foot, also another bruise on the side of her foot, a very swollen leg as well. She's got a crutch on the side there, but she's got one big, almost like a blistered bruise just below the skin surface. It's like a real kind of maroon red. And so you can imagine the pain that must have been. I mean, that's quite a serious
I'm
injury.
still in an awful lot of pain now, 13 days later.
This is only 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks tomorrow. But the thing is, whenever it's been reported in the papers or anything else, TfL's response to the reporters has always been there was no serious injuries. Nobody from TfL or anybody else has contacted me, and I'm having to chase the police investigation unit to actually get them to investigate. Anybody else would have been arrested straight away and taken to the police station, whatever else. They spoke to the men at the side of the road when they eventually caught them after leaving the scene of an accident, and they were let go. I have no idea who to claim from. I have nobody's name, I have nobody's address, I have nobody's insurance details, and I've lost work, and I won't be working next week either, because legally I can't, because I'm on crutches.
Yeah, well, listen, we're having a situation with your microphone at the moment. We'll come and sort that out. But, Claire, you saw all of this. What have you done as a result? Because I know you apparently chased the driver.
I traced both of them, yeah. I managed to get the reg of the van, which we didn't have at that time, and got them stopped and stood in front of the van, and they tried to drive into me. The van was trying to move forward, budging me onto a roundabout with me standing in front, whilst on the phone to the police saying, you're not going anywhere because you've just run someone over. What I was concerned about was, I think if this was a different incident with just everyday people, it would be handled differently. I just felt that based on the fact that they change vehicles all the time, you don't have the same drivers and the same security to the same vehicle, that once that vehicle got on the M25, we would have a much harder job trying to pinpoint who was actually driving that vehicle, because I believe it would be covered. Yeah. But this is part of a much wider issue. You know, I wouldn't say we're protesters as such. What we all are collectively, you know, it has to be said that these camera vans are actually coming into the boroughs that opposed ULEZ in the first place, and their suburban areas. So where we are, we're surrounded by countryside, fields and valleys. And we don't have trains and we don't have trams and we don't have very good public transport. So we already have a proportion of people, especially elderly, whose cars were not compliant, cannot afford to buy a new car, and are now essentially stuck at home. So what we are a collective of residents who care about the people in our community, and this is the same where if you want to call us fan blockers.
But you're not doing a Just Stop Oil.
No, we're not exactly
in that way. You're simply making an orderly protest, just like the pro-Palestinian protesters, who I think are hate marches. But hey, hey ho. You know.
So we have actually a good relationship with the police, because police do come out, and they, you know, we have a very good relationship with them. It's amicable. There's no issues. Well. Very sympathetic, and we said as long as we don't touch the vans, which we don't.
If somebody did spray some paint on them, which initially made them angry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the problem, is that somebody did do something that was irritating. Howard, you've got about 20 seconds. What's next for this then?
Well, we've got to actually get to the bottom of this, so who did this for a start. But we also want to get to the bottom of the bigger picture. Who authorises this? This is taxpayers' money being used to actually orchestrate and I'm sorry, I'm going to say this, thugs, to actually hit innocent people.
Well, obviously he didn't do it on purpose, I'm sure.
No, he did do it on purpose.
No, but you don't know. But listen, this is what the spokesperson for the Mayor of London says. Any injury is, of course, a serious matter, and the Met and Tfl are investigating the circumstances of this incident. Meanwhile, the Metropolitan Police say police are investigating the circumstances of an allegation of criminal damage and a road traffic collision in Biggn Hill. A further call was received stating a woman has been injured after being in collision with a vehicle and it attempted to leave the scene. She was not seriously hurt. All parties involved were spoken to, and the investigation to both remains ongoing. Well, she said they haven't spoken to her, so perhaps they should. Thank you very much, Heather, Claire and Howard, for joining